Welcome to Camaraderie, the Poor Man's Film Photography YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by Mount Vesuvius on my head right there. We're going to be talking a little bit about philosophy and photography today. Two interrelated subjects, and if neither of those appeal to you, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, you don't have to watch it. Why are you still watching this? So X button somewhere, or just a back button, or there's a lot of options for you. If none of that appeals to you and you don't want to watch any more of this, the philosophy in question today has to do with why do you take pictures? I want to dive into some of the reasons that people take photos. There's a fly in here. If only it were the Jeff Goldblum kind. I want to know what it is that makes your average Joe whip out his vintage iPhone 6 and press the shutter button. I got thinking, like, what is it that makes the mediocre Megans of the world want to capture something and keep it forever? Or maybe not forever, but, a long time. Is it for work? Are you a YouTuber and you just need to take a picture for a thumbnail and composite it in Photoshop and all that? Like, is that the only reason you take a picture? Or maybe you're a journalist and you're recording a story and, work. Is it for vanity or posterity, like just to make a record that you were here? Or is it a hobby that you just like messing around with and you don't necessarily put too much thought into it? Perhaps you're preparing for future nostalgia. Maybe you just felt like taking a picture. For me, it's pretty much like a all of the above sort of thing. But I was curious just how other people thought about it, or if they've thought about it. And if not, I wanted to get them to think about it. So I asked all my followers on Instagram and Twitter pretty much that exact thing. What is it that makes you press the shutter button? And a lot of the responses were pretty enlightening, and I just like to kind of go over them and just talk about it for a little bit. So first up, we have some Twitter answers. I'm trying to cross my legs and not doing a very good job. All right. So first, I had some Twitter people answer this, and really, it was a thought that crossed my head. Like, literally everyone takes pictures, even if they're not a photographer. Like, back in the day, especially like way back, there would usually be like one shutterbug in a family, and like they would just have a bunch of, they would just always have a camera around, and like that's just, I don't know, you see like people growing up and all of that kind of stuff, and so it wasn't really as ubiquitous of a thing as it is now. And it just got me thinking. Anyways, let's get into some of the responses. Cold Shower 9000 said that they like to take pictures of scenes when they're out hiking. That's pretty tight. And she also paints a lot of Warhammer minifigures, and I try to record what I've painted, particularly things I'm more proud of. I think that's great. Especially the hiking bit I can relate to, because that's, something I really enjoy doing, and it's just, I don't know, it's just nice to be out there, and I like to remember things, or like if I can find like a new way to shoot a waterfall. That's pretty tough, just because, like, I don't know, I guess if I really sat down and thought about it, I could probably think of a cool way to do it. But waterfalls are generally visited by people, and there's only a few ways I feel like you can really compose a shot for a waterfall. But I also really like that bit about recording what it is that he's painted, and just stuff that you're more proud of. I love that. On a similar note, Michael Graham, little Graham cracker, he guessed it sort of fits under vanity. I mainly take pics because I want to show off my stuff. Like I said, similar to the Warhammer minis, it's Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that's a totally valid reason. Really, like all of these are valid reasons. You've got a classic film photographer response from Dave Twig Plantleaf. I love the forced patience of film photography. I mostly took photos of things that most would consider mundane or everyday, and nature, of course. A little bit sad here. Other than the occasional phone snap, I haven't really taken photos for a couple of years now. One day, perhaps. Yeah, no, the forced patience of film photography is huge. You can do it with digital. It's just easier to kind of get tapped into that mindset of being forcefully patient. Just because, you only have a... Oh my god, dude. I can't wait for fall because... mosquitoes, man. Where was I? Oh yeah, the forced patience of film photography. It's kind of cliche, but there's a lot of truth in that, and it kind of comes down to having limited resources, so you want to make every shot count, even though you're still only ever going to get one or two good ones a roll. But that's just how it is. But yeah, no. So that's one of the things that got me into film photography in particular, which was like the only kind of photography I was doing for a while. Started shooting digital for like bands and stuff because it's just easier. And of course, at the end they mentioned that other than the occasional phone snap, I haven't really taken any pictures. I love the bit about the mundane, finding beauty in the mundane, and then I just want to say, Dave, if you're out there, Dave Twig Plantleaf, phone snaps, pictures on your phone still count, man. They're still pictures, and yeah, film is nice and it's cool, but a picture's a picture. I don't think the medium that or the tool that you're using really matters that much. If it does to you, then that's fine. I prefer shooting with an actual camera as opposed to my phone, unless it's just for like reference. I'll shoot a lot of reference work with my phone, and then maybe come back to that spot later on with my camera, and But still, a phone with a camera is still a camera. I got some other responses that are kind of similar. George and Daniel both are saying that like it kind of goes back into their childhood and what they kind of gained from that, whether with Daniel, he always enjoyed manipulating digital images, and then he ended up getting into digital cameras later on, enjoyed the art and the problem solving and the composition and all that. And then with George, it started with him as a kid, his family always taking pictures of him and his siblings, and it's something that he wants to pass on with his family now, and I think that's simply wonderful. JRK, I really, really relate to this one, this answer. At the risk of sounding corner? At the risk of sounding corny, photography is my escape. It's a brief moment in time where it's just myself and the subject. It's the humming of the insects around me, the whisper of the breeze through the trees. I capture that moment, frame it, and hang it on my wall. It kind of sounds, maybe not corny. I can't speak. Maybe not corny, but it kind of is kind of corny. But like, there's a lot of truth in that. We've got a Urbex photographer, Adequate. He said it's a lot about finding a scene, whether it's one that tells a story, documents something historical, or is just visually interesting or pretty. And then it's his job to kind of figure out how to frame everything up and capture it in a way that engages the viewer. That's the constant challenge. That's one of the things that keeps me coming back to photography. And I struggle with this a lot, being in the same kind of smaller, low-key city of Raleigh, is I feel like I've seen everything, but I keep coming back to it. I'll go through phases where I don't really shoot much at all, especially downtown, just because, I don't know, it gets boring after a while. But then I remind myself, hey, it's like every day is different, every hour is different. Go back out there and see what you can find, and see if you can find something that will interest myself, and hopefully that will be interesting to other people. I got a lot more responses on my Instagram, probably because I have more followers on there. Hey, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Sometimes you'll be able to answer questions that I ask. I won't go through each individual one because, like I said, there does end up being a lot of overlap in some of these. And some of them that I really, really liked. My memory is terrible. I don't want to forget the beautiful things that I see. From Ginger Nutmeg Art. I completely relate to that. I don't think that's necessarily why I shoot all the time, but it's I can definitely understand that because my short-term memory is what was I saying? There's a lot of related responses like that, capturing something I may not ever see again. Whenever I see something that I know that I'm going to want as more than just a memory, this is beautiful, I want to remember it. The idea that whatever comes out at the end will be a permanent memory. All of those kind of fall into that category of just like, there's something about the act. For me, it's not just the fact that I'll have that picture for as long as I have it. It's also something about the act of pressing the button. I just realized my microphone got kind of far away, but it's something about the act of pressing the button gets me to be more present, and so I take in more information. I observe more stuff, and that kind of like cements that moment in time just a little bit more than if I was just walking around. Also have creating and feeling emotions through art. I mean, photography. Here's an interesting subject that maybe I could address at another time. Like, is photography inherently art? I don't know, but it certainly can be, and so that's a totally valid reason to take pictures. The last one I want to talk about, at least from the people that responded, said to keep my mind off of the rest of my life. Ooh, boy. Yeah, 100%. That's a huge reason why I got into photography and why I keep doing photography. It's life's hard, man. Life's tough. Everybody's going through a tough time always. Like, everybody's making it up as they go along, and nobody knows what they're doing, and it can all get very, very overwhelming and anxiety-inducing. So, yeah, I completely understand that, and that, like I said, is a big reason why I've continued with photography, is because it does allow me that escape whenever I go out and just walk around, and it gives me something for my mind and my eyes and my feet and my hands to do. So it's a great escape for me. So I can definitely relate to that. I forgot to uncross my leg, and now it's asleep. Oh, why do I still have socks on? That's pretty much it for today. If you listen to the whole thing, you can maybe piece together why I take pictures, what it is that compels me to press the shutter button. Let's keep this conversation going in the comments. Let me know why you take pictures. What it is, what is it that whenever you pull out your phone and you take a picture, why do humans take pictures? Why do so many people take pictures? That's all I've got for you today. You can subscribe and like if you care to do so. Otherwise, I'll be on this side of the lens in the next video, and until then, bye. It's my longest one yet.